So, I don't do this very often, and I don't advocate people to do their vlogging while they're driving, but I'm not really going to be paying attention to the camera. I just kind of had a fleeting thought, and I just wanted to talk about it. And sometimes I think I just do this just so that I can kind of put it out there and then make myself accountable to a better way of thinking or getting out of negativity. And I was just kind of thinking about you know, there's been so many times in my life where I'm thinking about, you know, just how, like, I remember back in the day just thinking, like, man, I used to struggle with depression really badly when I was younger, and even up until I was older. And man, somebody just waved to me at the fence there, and I'm wondering if they need my help. I don't know, but anyway, there's a way out of the gate, so I don't know who they are. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I used to struggle very badly with depression, and I remember thinking, like, I don't know if life is ever gonna get better, or if this is ever gonna, like, I literally lost hope. And I remember thinking, like, man, things can't get worse, but they don't seem to get better. And I spent so much time in depression and so much time in anxiety that I remember thinking there's no way this can get better, that I didn't have hope for the future. It's like people tell me things will get better, and I remember just thinking, yeah, right. Like, when is that gonna happen? It'd be fantastic if that would come my way, because it didn't seem to. It's like, it just seemed to be like where life was one struggle after another, and it still can be that way, but my outlook is entirely different, and my circumstances are gradually getting better, especially as my attitude changes and become a much more responsible person as I've grown up. And you know, I mean, I don't feel like I really self-inflicted a lot of my struggles on myself, but there were some things where I definitely made bad decisions, and I invested in the wrong people, I think, is probably one of my biggest ones. Like, became probably emotionally attached to people who are not healthy, and I was not healthy, so it was a big mess. And anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is, if you're a person that's feeling that way, or if you have that sort of attitude about life, like, I just want to confirm that it definitely can get better. Things definitely can improve, and it might be a long shot. It might be years, and sorry. And I hope that's not the case for you. And it was the case for me, but it was worth it to hold out, and it's worth it to invest in your own well-being in any way that you can, to do the little things that you can do. You know, be responsible with your finances, eat better, drink lots of water, you know, do, like, exercise, and you know, all of these things. Like, I remember hearing from my mom sometimes. She would tell me things like, you know, if you're feeling depressed, you need to take care of yourself. And I remember thinking, oh, I was in such a pit of depression that it just seemed like, oh yeah, I'm sure that, like, this is gonna fix everything for me. All it's gonna take is for me to make some, you know, changes, and everything's gonna just be right as rain. And I'm sure it would have helped. And she was absolutely right, but it was also a lot more to it than that. But you know, she was 100% right. And you know, when you invest more into yourself, and you take care of yourself, and you do the things that you know you need to do, then you don't have to carry the guilt of knowing that you could have done better. You don't have to walk away from any situation with regret, and you don't have to feel like, oh, I failed this, or I should have done this, or, you know, even just small things, you know, like, you know, if you, like, I don't know, I noticed that people that do not have good hygiene seem to have pretty low confidence, and I don't know if that's, you know, if they have low confidence because they don't have good hygiene, or if they don't have good hygiene because they have low confidence, so they just don't invest in themselves. But there's definitely a causation there, and it ties together, and it probably just feeds into each other. But, you know, anyway, invest in yourself, take care of yourself, do what you can to make your situation better, and then just hope for the best. For me, one of the biggest things has been kind of finding out who I am in the Lord, and like, you know, just having a better self-image, realizing that, you know, a lot of things don't happen by chance. Like sometimes things are not so awesome, but it's not always a punishment. It's not always something that we've done to ourselves. It's just sometimes life can be a little crappy, but it doesn't stay that way if we keep a good attitude and we stay positive. And anyway, let's tie this together before I just start on a huge rant. And anybody that knows me knows that I can definitely go into tangents and talk for hours. And I don't know if anybody's interested enough in that to sit here and listen to all that, but yeah, I just wanted to say, like, you know, if you're struggling, continue to fight. It's worth it, and it's entirely necessary for your attitude to drive you into where you want to be. If you believe that things are going to be crappy, if you believe that things are always going to be terrible, then that will probably be the reality that manifests. And if you believe that good things are coming, they will come.